Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the Voice of Reason. In today's ongoing coverage of the civil war that is taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia, the fighting continues. The escalation and the intensity of the conflict is really taking its effect on various regions inside of Ethiopia. We are starting to see a significant issue in terms of the movement of food and resources now inside of the Amhara region. We continue to see the displacement of people inside of the Amhara region as the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to create strategic depth and hold on to very significant amounts of territory inside of the Amhara region. And remember, again, this was not an invasion of the Amhara region by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. These are efforts that are underway because of the invasion that was conducted by the Ethiopian Army, the Amhara Regional Paramilitary Forces, into the Tigray region that occurred last year. So just wanted to cover that real quickly. But again, the fighting is really starting to transition into what could be defined as somewhat of a conventional war with heavy elements of a guerrilla nature type of conflict as well. So specifically, if we go and we look at what is occurring along the southeastern front, and that is the front facing Dessie and in the environments of Mersa and Weldea, and then we have the central front, which would be towards Debre Tabor, Nefes Micha, and Gashina. And then we would have the southwestern front, which would be facing Gondar. But right now, we continue to get reports as the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to push and slowly start to envelop the Dessie-Kombolcha gap, and that's the area in between Kombolcha and Dessie. And would it appear, again, this is a fairly large, significant area that encompasses both very many terrain features, hills, mountains, and obviously some fairly dense urbanized environments. And there are significant forces of the Ethiopian military, and again, it's blurred with the Ethiopian military and the newly created Amhara Regional Army that is starting to exist. So those lines, again, are starting to be blurred, and I talked about that in previous issues. But right now, we continue to see the TDF maneuvering to the west, to the north, to the east of both Kombolcha and Dessie. We continue to hear about forces that are defending the outskirts of Dessie. And when I mean the forces that are defending Dessie, that would be the Amhara militias, that would be the remnants of the Ethiopian military that are actually inside of Dessie. And we do believe that is significant. At the Military and Foreign Affairs Network, we believe that the Ethiopian state, what is left of it, the Amhara regional military, is really drawing a line at Dessie and are not willing to capitulate these cities, meaning Dessie and Kombolcha, without a fairly significant fight. And we're starting to see that manifest itself as the TDF continues to push into the environments of Dessie. We're also getting reports that units of the Eritrean military, and this is how desperate the situation is for the Amharan Ethiopian government not to lose Dessie, in which we are hearing that Eritrean foreign forces of the despotic regime of Eritrea have been brought in to help defend the city of Dessie, and there may be thousands of Eritrean forces in and near Dessie. And we're also hearing reports that in the continued fighting, as the TDF continues to edge closer to Dessie, that they have surrounded units of the Eritrean army and of the Amharan Ethiopian military as well, very close to Dessie. That has not been confirmed. That is being reported. But again, we'll have to continue to monitor that situation and see how that manifests itself, especially in terms of the Eritrean forces that could be deployed in and around Dessie. Now, we do know that the Eritrean army is operating in Gondar. We do know that forces of the Eritrean army were moved from western Tigray down towards Gondar as the Tigrayan Defense Forces started to threaten Gondar. Again, that would be a city, a no-lose city for the Ethiopian state, or the Ethiopian or the Amhara regional paramilitaries, the Amhara regional government. That is really kind of taking more and more power from the centralized government inside of Ethiopia. And again, we'll probably start to see that emergence of an Amhara army at some point, which actually exists. It's just not officially called that as of yet. But again, we do know the Eritrean army that is occupying much of western Tigray, west of the Tekizi River, have deployed south and are helping the Amhara regional paramilitaries defend the city of Gondar and approaches north of the city of Gondar, such as Dabat and other areas as well. We continue to hear reports that the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to maneuver down the B-30 highway and are conducting infiltration raids, really keeping the Amhara paramilitaries and the remnants of the Ethiopian and then also the Eritrean army off balance in terms of these deep penetration raids inside of the western Amhara region. And that continues as we speak. We are also getting word that there was a counterattack by the Tigrayan Defense Forces along the B-22 highway towards Debre Zabit. We do know that at one point the Tigrayan Defense Forces had pushed all the way towards Debre Tabor and have been since been pushed back or withdrawn back towards in the vicinity of Gashina, but we're now hearing reports that the Tigrayan Defense Forces are now in fact counterattacking along the B-22 highway and other areas as well to solidify their positions west of Gashina and quite possibly look to continue its advance west of Debre Zabit. We do know there's fighting in the vicinity of that area, and then obviously further west along the B-22 highway as well. The front lines are not as solidified in this area, and we will see forces intermingle. We will see forces on one side penetrate towards the east in terms of the Amhara militias, and then obviously we will continue to see the Tigrayan Defense Forces push down the B-22 highway or circumnavigating the B-22 highway and utilizing mountains, passes, and overland travel to get into the rear of some of the Amhara regional militaries and attack supply depots, bases, and staging areas as well. But that is the situation on the ground that is going on as we speak. Right now, the major area of interest right now is the push by the Tigrayan Defense Forces to circumvent and envelop Dessie, and there's very significant fighting that is occurring in the Dessie area of operations, and that would include everything south of Hayek, Salula, and then obviously the cities themselves. We could anticipate some other operations taking place in a very short time once the so-called rainy season alleviates. We continue to see the buildup of forces, especially the Tigrayan Defense Forces, as it is on a total war footing within its region in terms of recruiting, in terms of acquiring armaments to either manufacture with some of the limited manufacturing capabilities it has, and really kind of form forces to continue to push south and either take cities inside of the Amhara region or continue to create strategic depth. And again, those are the two operational goals at this point, ultimately to attempt to force the Ethiopian / Amhara / Eritrean forces out of western Tigray at some point. And that is the operational goal. I still say that we could see a generalized collapse possibly within the Ethiopian state, where we could see rapid movement south at some point. Hasn't happened yet, but it has happened. It happened in the actual battles that took place in the Tigray region when those forces were evicted, meaning the Ethiopian forces were evicted from the Tigray region, the Amhara forces that were evicted from the Tigray region, and then obviously we saw very rapid advances in terms of the TDF taking control of Sokoto, taking control of Lalibela, moving further south, taking control of Gashina and west of Gashina, and obviously we saw the rapid advance south, seizing control of Alamata, Kobo, Weldia, and now the TDF is at the doors of Dessie. That's what we have for today. We will continue to monitor this situation, again, really taking on the more of a conventional type of war, but with heavy overtones of a large-scale insurgency and guerrilla war also taking place. Again, we'll continue to monitor and report. Have a great day, everybody.